I'm splurging. I'm splurging.
What's
Anyway.
going on, guys? Welcome back to the Yappin Point. Oh, today we're gonna be watching a video, except we don't know what video we're watching, so we're gonna leave it to the roll of the dice.
Yep.
Okay, so, Jay, 1 through 10, and we're gonna watch what was the video you sent. The video you sent is 1
The
through 10,
ultimate. Okay, the video I sent.
and 11 through 20 is the video I sent. In this world, Marvel superheroes don't have powers.
And mine's about the new Ultimate Spider-Man arc, first arc.
14.
14. In this world, Marvel superheroes don't have powers.
Do y'all remember when
Is it going for you?
DC's take on the real world that's affected by their characters? Well, yeah. This kind gentleman left this comment on one of those videos that states that Marvel has a similar book. So today we're going to be checking him out. Written by Matt Chernis and Peter Johnson with art by Alex Maleev. This is Marvel's Powerless. In this world, we follow the character of William Watts, who has visions of our 616 Marvel universe, but he actually lives in the real world. Like the Marvel real world, so it's not real, but its elements are more realistic to a degree. And pardon me for talking too much. So anyways,
makes sense.
The story opens up with a narration talking about what you see when you die and how the narrator feels like just an observer in a world. This narration is against the backing of the Avengers fighting Galactus in a city. Then boom, smash cut to a bald guy waking up from a coma. His name is William Watts, and in this video
he doesn't look like a William. He looks
William mostly.
He looks like a JJ.
Says he's been in a coma for 3 days after being found on.
He looks like he wants pictures of Spider-Man on his desk by noon.
And calls her by her name to go to lunch, and her name is Dr. Richards. So it's
Richard
Sue and Reed. Next, we see that William's a therapist, and he's talking to his patient Emma, who is complaining about how this guy Scott is with a girl named Jean instead of her. Then Emma walks out, and William sees his next patient, who is Peter Parker, which sets off visions from that other world he saw in his coma. But he thinks it's nothing. Peter talks more, and then he shows off his arm. He was bit by a spider, and it left his left arm completely useless and disgusting looking. And he says, it may look nasty, but the chicks love it.
Yeah, but sure they do.
He then mentions how his uncle was killed a few months ago, and William knows the story already. Because just like us, he's seen all the Spider-Man movies, and he has visions from the 616
that's
universe.
crazy,
Peter
dude.
gets anxious and leaves early, and then we see William contemplate whether he wants Peter to return so he can help him, or if he wants to venture further into those visions of that other world. All the names in this book ignite feelings in him that he can't explain. We see
an L. Cage, J. Jones
appointment book like Jessica
Jones,
Jones, Cage, Charles Xavier, Matt Murdock, Bruce Banner, and Ryan Braddock. We then cut to see Peter getting bullied by Flash and then being saved by Gwen. Harry's here too, and he says that they're invited to dinner with his dad because his dad wants to hear about Peter's internship at Stark Industries, but Peter brushes off the offer and Harry leaves. Gwen says that Peter shouldn't brush off his friends, but Peter insists that he gets a very bad feeling when he's talking to Harry's dad, Norman. He says it's almost like a sixth sense, almost like a spider sense. Gwen calls him crazy and leaves. We then hear shot of the Galactus fight in the city that passes down into the real world as we get William's narration that he has 7 appointments today, and he's heading to his first one right now.
Do you want an almond?
No. Kill yourself.
William heads into the courthouse to his appointment. It's with a lawyer, Matt Murdock, who is...
We should probably talk. This is supposed to be a reaction video, and we haven't said anything except, do you want almonds?
I'm kind of zoned into the video, low-key.
It's a low-key interesting.
Low-key interesting, but I don't know what to say. Like, it's just like, okay.
Oh, I'm gonna read this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today to talk about a murderer, a stone-cold killer, an animal. The prosecution will try to use that label to describe my client.
Representing Frank Castle. He presents his case stating that Frank
Castle, that's Punisher.
And then he talks more, and we see the Punisher's origin, where his family is shot down by criminals, in this case Leland Owlsley. Frank survives, but this time he goes to find Owlsley.
I knew what the Punisher when I heard the name Frank.
Beaten to death by some thugs. Frank has his hands on the body as soon as the cops arrive. Matt continues stating that the real killer is still out there, as we see Will Wilson Fisk sitting at his desk in his office. William and Matt
Oh my
then
God,
walk
Wilson
out of the
Fisk.
courtroom after everything's finished, and Matt trips because he's blind, but he's not like superhuman blind. And at the door, he bumps into something
Ew.
again. That something is Kingpin. He's just standing there to watch. So Matt
Kingpin!
and William keep walking out, and then on the street, Matt says that he
Kingpin,
needs
pin
William's
click.
help to open.
It's not about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets,
The
baby. The
Mets,
Mets.
baby,
The
the
Mets. Oh my gosh, the pen click. I'm recreating it with a mechanical pencil. Killing myself.
Someone meme this. Someone meme this. Me waiting for Jellycat to come back out of retirement.
Interrogation. So Matt wants William to help prove he wasn't in his right mind when admitting to the crime, but William says that he's got shit going on at the moment and leaves. Cut to
Language.
Aubrey's kitchen where
I'm
Peter's
kidding.
eating. He asks if she's ever wished to be in another world, to which she says that problems have a way of following people. Then there's a knock at the door, so Peter goes to answer it, and it's Norman Osborn. Cut back to William in bed. He's awoken by his
Hello,
phone.
Peter.
It's Matt Murdock saying he's figured it out, that his case leads to Kingpin, but nobody else will touch it, so he pleads with William to help, but William denies. And then he walks into his kitchen and he's lunged at by Wolverine.
Whoa.
And Wolverine's got these claw glove thingies.
Bro,
Wolverine
what?
asks if he knows
Claw
Charles
glove
Xavier,
thingies.
and William says yes, because he's a patient of his. Logan then explains that he killed Charles, but he doesn't remember anything, and that the claw things are like
What?
a second nature to him, even though he has no memory of them.
Ooh,
but we
that's
cut back to
interesting.
Aunt May's. They're all sitting
Bro,
around the table,
what?
and Peter is very
What? You want to talk?
Like, no, it's just like crazy, bro. Like, he killed him, but he doesn't know it. And like the claw, like they're hints to him having
Okay, do you know
powers.
what else is crazy?
What?
I'm not gonna finish the thought.
Finish it. Finish it.
The low taper paid meme is still mad.
very defensive. Norman
I'm gonna
tries to
go get
take
it real
notes on
quick.
some of Peter's notes, but Peter grabs him away quickly. So they step outside, and Norman cuts the facade. He's basically like, listen here, boy, I can make your life easy or hell, so tell me what's up with Tony Stark, because I'm his main business rival. And then he gets in his car and leaves. The next thing we see is Karen Page in an alley getting shanked, and then we see Matt standing with a rose beside her hospital bed. Cut to Rikers
Excuse me.
Island. We see Matt talking to Frank more about the whole Kingpin situation, and then we cut to Foggy and Matt having a discussion as they box, and Matt is kicking the shit out of Foggy. We see that Matt is determined to take down Kingpin. Then we see William in the Manhattan Hospital psychiatric ward, where he is meeting Bruce Banner, a man who has an alter ego of being a violent, angry rage monster. Wink wink. William sits down and barely says anything, and then boom, Banner explodes, and it's just a middle-aged white guy yelling at another middle-aged bald white guy. Cut to Stark
Real.
Enterprises, where
So
we see
real.
Peter working
Type,
with Dr. Connors. Peter
type.
gets a call from Gwen, who's working out, but Tony Stark comes in, so
Was
he
she
cuts the
naked?
call short. Tony decides to show him the
No.
secret project that he's been working on, and can you guess what it is? Yeah, big surprise. It's an Iron Man
Lizard?
suit. Wow, amazing. Tony
Oh.
needs Peter's work on his silk fiber or whatever as the last piece
I don't know
of
why-
the
why I
puzzle
guess
to his Iron
Lizard. I
Man
thought it was
suit,
on
and
Dr.
Peter's
Connors.
shocked and stunned and has a look on his face that says he doesn't know whether to side with Tony or Norman. Cut back to Williams walking into his living room, and he tells Logan some info that he learned from his cop friend. So the reports of Charles' killer fit Logan, but the fingerprints at the scene don't match anybody else in the entire world, and it's as if the person who killed him doesn't exist at all. Logan then decides to leave, and he leaves the claws on the table. We then cut to a courtroom, and Matt calls Kingpin to the stand to question him, but he isn't able to prove anything, and as Kingpin leaves, he says to Matt that he hopes that he had fun with his line of questioning. Then we see Logan at a bar with a hot lady offering to buy him a drink. The lady's name is Mystique, and she asks Logan to
Whoa.
light her cigarette. He
Oh.
obliges, and then he recognizes the symbol on his
Eh,
lighter.
eh, eh, eh.
OMG Nightwing. I mean, it's the Phoenix logo.
Bruh.
But then he remembers who he is. He's
Wrong
Weapon X.
franchise,
Mystique
bro.
then reactivates Logan into Weapon X and gives him his new target, our boy, William watts. So next we see Logan walking back into Williams. He sits down and puts on the claws, and then he lunges at William.
Oh.
William recognizes the look of
just
someone
kills
under
him.
hypnosis and starts to talk his way out of the situation. He suggests that Logan should go back to the same bar tomorrow and get answers, because he knows for certain Logan is being brainwashed. For some reason, Logan doesn't kill him immediately, and then he agrees, and then we cut back to Matt. He walks into his apartment and it's been turned inside out, and Matt panics and calls Foggy. So instead of following that for a little bit longer, we cut right back to William during a therapy session with Peter. Peter is hesitant to talk about anything because he has a spider sense.
We're not talking
and
that
thinks
much
Norman
about
is
this
always
video.
listening. He looks outside and sees a van, so he's most definitely right. So Peter does the "with great power comes great responsibility" speech, and he slams the door and leaves
Nice.
to do the right thing. And then William thinks to himself about when or how he became such a coward as to not get involved and just sit back and watch. Peter walks up to the van and tells the guys surveilling him to suck a dick, and if Norman wants the details of what Tony's up
Real.
to, then he should hit Tony's
Type,
then
W
he
Peter,
slams
low-key,
the van
W
door
Peter.
and leaves. This Peter's got it, yeah, like
W
you know what I
Peter
mean?
crash
He's just
out.
got it.
Valley
cut back
crash
to
out.
Matt.
Yeah, how much have we, Ed or Jay, how many words have we said in total? Ed or Jay is not gonna go and count every word.
I don't know, he might.
Just switch into your alter ego, Ed or Jay, real quick.
Oh, like Moon Knight, like I have to be like,
Yeah.
Me.
Is this Ed or Jay or is this Jay?
I'm Editor J.
Are you gonna count every single word that we've said?
No.
Then takes Matt's glasses, and we see that he's left Matt in a field in the middle of nowhere and says the jigsaw line, "Game over." Truthfully, this part of the story makes me really sad. Like, I'm not very invested in the story, but this just feels so mean-spirited. Like, damn dude, if you're a bad guy, then kill him. We then see Norman in his penthouse talking to himself
Real?
about
About
his
torture,
schizophrenia
make
and
him
his
slowly die.
medication. Then he gets notified that Hank Pym needs to see him immediately. Apparently someone hacked
Wait,
into
Pym?
their servers and deleted
Hank
all the
Pym?
information related to Project Juggernaut, Norman's project that would rivals Tony Stark's Iron Man project. And whoever hacked in left a message for Norman. It's a Spider-Man themed message saying, "Norman, the spider bites back. Have a nice day." So yeah, Peter's not subtle at all, and yeah, he's definitely gonna get it. Cut to the courtroom. The judge is all like, "Where the hell's Matt?" Foggy is there, so he's not dead, but how did
Dang.
he get out of that locker? He was like tied up. We see that Matt is actually alive and he's making his way back to the city. Then we come
Ow.
back to the bar. Logan reports
blind.
and says mission accomplished.
He
And
can't
she
see.
says
He
thank
just
you
does
on
it.
behalf of
He's
the
just him.
12. He then asks
He's just
about
him,
the
he
12
just
He
does it,
understood
yeah.
it. He understood
and
it now.
says nah. So
Oh,
she
you know, when he
takes
fell
aside
out the
and
car,
makes
he
a
said,
call,
"I
stating
understand
that
it
Weapon
now."
X has been compromised. She's on the phone with an Eric about the Phoenix Project and says that she's gonna kill Logan, but then Logan stabs her in the back. Bang! Then we're back with William. He's walking to his second
Literally.
appointment with Bruce, but on the way he manages to find Matt in an alley. Wow, it's amazing. He just managed to stumble into him, and Matt called out for help just as he walked by. Incredible. He then takes him back
Timing,
to a
am I
safe
right?
place, and now William is
That's
talking
crazy.
to Foggy, and he tells William the Daredevil origin that we know. Then we cut to the White House. A dark figure, Eric, asks Victor to take out Logan and William to save Project Phoenix. So he takes the assignment and he leaves with Mortimer, a character that we never actually see. Then we see Logan and William looking through Mystique's purse and talking. Then we see Peter walking through the streets wondering if he did the right thing by hacking into Norman's servers, and he's super paranoid, worried that everyone around him is watching him. We then see a newspaper stating that Tony Stark won the government contract over Norman
nice.
and Oscorp, which is supposed to be a good thing.
That
but
is so
also,
cool.
Iron Man isn't a good person, and especially in this world, he's just another capitalist piece of shit. So boo
Valid.
to him and boo-hoo to Norman, because we then see him pissed off in his office, and he starts to hallucinate
his
an alter
schizophrenia.
ego of himself in his reflection. It starts talking to him and telling him to give Peter one more chance and to be more persuasive. Back to Peter, he walks into Stark Industries.
Persuasive.
and Tony
Persuasive.
gives the
Shoots him in the
underage
face.
alcohol. Great guy. He then toasts to Norman Osborn and says his company should fall into hell. Wow, great guy. And
What?
Peter leaves. Cut to Rikers Island, and William
Hi, Mom. I'm eating almonds. Okay. Yeah. I went to school. Nothing. I just look down at Discord and see your face.
Like, your mom just came in and asked how your day was or something?
Yeah, I didn't realize she was standing there.
Man, it's me.
Yeah.
Cut to Peter in a park meeting Gwen. He tells her about the
Gwen.
Norman situation, and she replies in a way that I had to read through a few times to make sure that it wasn't a joke. She's like, "There's no way that you can convince me that Norman Osborn, one of the most powerful rich men in the city, is surveilling you. You, who works for a direct competitor to him, who he absolutely hates." And then she calls Peter crazy and then leaves. Like, what
Crazy?
the hell was that? That was
That was
honestly
crazy.
so hard to believe.
They
So
locked me
in.
eventually
Gwen,
she's
Gwen.
kidnapped by
I'm glad she
Norman
gets her backs
Osborn.
now.
Oh, woohoo. I guess we're gonna watch Gwen bite the bullet again. Great.
Dang.
Excited for that.
Yeah,
So Peter goes
baby.
home and he gets a
It's
call
all
from
like
Gwen,
what's
but it's actually Norman. He's sitting beside Gwen in his car, and he tells Peter that he has 2 days to get the info on Project Iron Man or something bad's gonna happen. Despite being a smart guy, Peter is really stupid. He really left a message saying it was him, and now that's coming back to bite him in the ass. Great job, Spider-Man. Cut to Logan and William in an apartment. William tells Logan to
It's not
come
Spider-Man,
here
it's
because the
Peter
street lights
Parker.
are out. Then Logan grabs William and covers his mouth and quickly pulls him on the ledge outside of the window of the apartment
Excuse
as
me.
men with guns come into the room looking for them. After searching the place and not finding them, the men leave. Logan follows them and then jumps on the back of their car, and then he smashes through the windshield, causing the car to crash. Victor steps out as Logan stands there ready to get his answers. But as I thought, Logan brought Claus to a gunfight, right? So, nope, because Victor doesn't have a
Get
gun
shot.
anymore, and Logan takes off his claws to beat up Victor with his fist to send a message to Eric. He then tells Victor to piss off, and then he leaves. Then we see Peter in Aunt May's kitchen with Captain Stacy, who is asking Peter if he knows anything about Gwen's disappearance, stating that he knows that the
Stacy,
last place she went to was to meet Peter in the park, and that he knows that a phone call was made from her phone to Peter. Peter lies and says he doesn't know anything, and thinks to himself that it would be his fault if she dies. Oh boy, I wonder what's gonna happen, huh? Peter then rushes to his room, grabs the
You're gonna
Stark
die.
documents, and leaves, but not before slamming another door. This Peter Parker is a monster who has claimed his first victim, smashing an innocent picture frame. holding
No,
a
not the
of
picture
him,
frame.
Aunt May, and Gwen.
Well, Peter, why
Cut
would
back
you
to
smash the
William
picture's
walking
frame?
in
He's
off
not
the
supposed to
street.
do
He's going
that.
to see Matt because
Smash
he's
me.
decided to help and decided now
What?
is the time to
What?
make a stand. He tells that to Matt and then
Yes.
holds out a new pair of
Smash?
signature Murdoch red shades, which Matt can't see. So like, William should let Matt touch them, because if he just holds them there, how is this normal blind man, Matt Murdoch, gonna know that they're there in front of him because he is blind? Anyways,
True.
cut to Matt making his return to the courtroom like Michael Jordan coming out of retirement, and then we cut to 3 hours later where he holds
Real.
up a
Right.
picture of the man who interrogated Frank Castle, Matthew Senrick, who from a quick Google search isn't a Marvel character and is a writer from Robot Chicken. Either a coincidence or strange inclusion. Anyways, this
Why?
Matthew character who interrogated Frank
Not
is
even like a Marvel writer. Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken of all places, bro. We should watch Robot Chicken one day.
We
bro.
should.
Really,
If this video
Yeah,
gets 20 billion trillion likes.
we'll watch Robot Chicken.
Next, we see Peter and Stark Industries stealing more files. He then calls Norman and they get ready to meet, but that's too much information. So back to William. He's in a therapy session, but
This
he
comic is, like,
believes
all
him,
over
so
the
William
place, so
kicks out
cute.
his client, and then he has a quick chat with Peter before he goes to hand off the files. Peter spills the beans on the Norman and Gwen situation, not them fucking that one-time situation.
Whoa,
but
whoa,
the one
whoa,
that we're
whoa.
dealing-
I would love to see a movie of this.
I think that would be good. That movie of it.
Yeah, like, imagine this. Marvel Studios. Powerless.
I feel like that would be a good, like, little series, like, you know those specials they do on Disney Plus.
Like a what if series, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah, but it's like its own little series called Marvel Powerless.
Yeah.
And it's just like a half an hour long little segments of like this, but like more detailed and like in their separate episode. I feel like that would be good to watch.
Next, we see Kingpin in his office, angry and smashing a vase because of Matt
A
pursuing
vase?
him. He's on the phone with his
Of Oz.
A vase.
I feel like this story would have been better if they did like these stories, but like in individual comics, not in all one like comic.
Yeah.
As William seems scared, and he decides to stop being a bystander and rings the police to report Gwen's kidnapping. Cut back to Matt's. He calls the police to report a murder at his place, and then the killers bust through the window. Kingpin comes in and guilts Matt, stating that he knows that years ago, Matt was the reason that Karen got hooked on drugs, and that he's the reason that she was killed now. He then proceeds to kill Matt, but the police arrive as he is still killing him. Mid-kill. Kingpin is done. Cut to Peter. He walks into Oscorp, and he goes to Norman's office, which has a balcony. He tells Norman that he's not stupid, and that he knows that once he hands over the documents, that Norman won't let them live still. Then they hear cop sirens approaching. Peter realizes, and he knows who called, and knows that this is his chance. So he holds the documents in his cripple arm over the edge of the balcony, and the papers start to fall. For some reason, Norman runs straight for him and dives off the edge with Gwen to grab him. Peter manages to use his cripple arm to grab her, and surprise, surprise, Gwen is not dead. But Norman falls to his death and lands on a cop car, but clutching one of the papers in his hand. If I was a poet, I would say that this is poetic or ironic or whatever it is. So now we get a
But you're not a poet, are you?
William stating that Peter stopped going to therapy because he's shook, but and Logan is off doing his own thing. We see him going through a metal detector.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
DC. Get it? Because this guy doesn't have a metal skeleton. Awesome. Funny stuff. We then see him walk through a door with a plaque on it displaying Senator Eric Magnus, New Hampshire. So Magneto is the senator of New Hampshire. We get more narration from William as he's in his apartment looking through his telescope. He sees a newspaper on the ground with the headline, Hell's Kitchen hero Matt Murdock found murdered. William then takes a moment and breaks down in tears. Comes to a press conference where Kingpin is thanking everyone for getting his charges dropped. But we see someone putting on gloves, and it's free man Frank Castle. He then loads some bullets into a rifle and he shoots Kingpin in the head as he says, "Consider yourself punished, motherfucker." He doesn't say that last word, but pretty much what he says. Then we
basically just the Punisher,
narrating about his journey as a person from
that's still pretty badass.
to now a fully fledged character who gets involved. He then goes to shave. He's now clean shaven and he's just a bald guy. But in the mirror we see his reflection. He is the Watcher. Big surprise. The last thing we see is him holding a straight razor in his hand as he narrates about being powerless. There's a T.S. Eliot quote that closes off the story as well. But other than that, the end. We need to talk. DC did it better, no question. Thanks for watching. But no, for real, I thought the story had its moments, but overall, I don't think it fully committed to its premise of being in the real world. With William having visions of the 616 Marvel world throughout, it doesn't completely dedicate to being in the real world, and it also isn't dedicated to being in a world with clear supernatural elements. Peter has a spider sense, but not really, and William has visions of superheroes from other worlds who are the same people as those in real life, but also those superheroes I don't mind in the real world here. Perhaps.
What?
I think that's good that he had visions and stuff. I don't really mind that being a problem.
Use of the real.
I did like some of the things, like the Wolverine. There were gloves basically for the claws.
Yeah, and how Peter Parker still got the spider, but it just made his arm like really bad.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Just remembered how mean they were to Matt by leaving him to die. I don't like how he made it back and managed his way to William. That feels like a little bit of a stretch, which is a nitpick, but also this is supposed to be...
That was an odd detail. I don't know how I felt about it. He was stranded in the middle of a field far from the city, and he's blind, and just so happened to make it back to the city.
Like he was just walking and he happened just to be in the alley and just had help as soon as someone he knew passed by.
Yeah. That detail, I feel like that's kind of a bad detail, but, you know.
Like I said, I feel like this should have been, like, each story should have been its own comic.
Yeah.
Like, they could have had the Matt story and, like, flesh it out better and then have the Peter Parker one, have, like, the Logan one.
Yeah.
That would have been 3 comics they could have made of this.
I mean, if those were the main focuses, really. Like, you can have some of the other smaller things, like little tad bits of... I think if they were to do a show on Powerless, I think they fully flesh out each character and their life.
Yeah.
So, like, fully flesh out World War II with Steve Rogers, and maybe, I don't know why. And fully flesh out Peter getting bitten by a spider, but not a radioactive spider, just a spider. And just fully flesh out everyone and everything.
No, what if we do this?
Ooh, what if we do
Of
this?
our different characters, new video coming soon, possibly making other characters
Potentially?
powerless.
Since he has the ability to see those other universes but doesn't understand them, he takes his own life. But also, it's left up in the air. So whatever. And
Wow.
powerless.
I didn't realize
Hopefully
that's
you
what
guys
he did.
enjoyed.
All right.
No salt on my fingers from these.
What do we think?
That's pretty good.
All right. Thanks guys for watching this little video, and yeah. All right.
I was in Ohio before I met you. I risked too much and that's an issue, but I'm gonna shake.